I've had patients sit across from me and list everything that they have tried. Gabapentin, physical therapy, supplements, injections, chiropractic care, laser therapy, compression boots, and a drawer full of vitamins. And by the time that they're done, they usually all say the same thing. I've tried everything, nothing worked. And here's what I tell them. Most of those treatments probably weren't useless. They were just incomplete. Almost every treatment on that list was built to do one specific job: quiet a signal, build a muscle, lower a lab number. And neuropathy is almost never a one-job problem. It's usually several different problems happening at the same time. So by the end of this video, you'll understand why treatments often help, but rarely heal. Here's the entire model in one sentence. Neuropathy usually has up to 4 independent drivers. Most treatments are designed to address only one of them. That's why the pattern is so predictable. That's why we see the pain improves, then it plateaus. Balance gets a little bit better, then it stops improving. Numbness softens, then it stays exactly where it is. Most people think the treatment stopped working. That's usually not what happened. The treatment merely reached the limit of which it was designed to do. A medication can only quiet a signal so much. Exercise can only compensate so much. Eventually, you're going to hit a ceiling, and that ceiling is not failure. It's usually evidence that another part of the problem has not been addressed yet. So before we talk about those 4 systems, I want to clarify one word that in this video's title, the word heal. Most people use help and heal like they mean the same thing, and they don't. When something helps, the pain decreases, the sleep improves, walking may feel steadier. Now those are real improvements, but they're symptom improvements. Healing's a little bit different. Healing means the underlying system actually changed. The metabolic environment improved. The blood supply improved. The nerve regained repair capacity. The brain relearned normal movement. That's why someone can honestly say, this treatment, it helped, without actually healing the problem itself. And that's why saying, I've tried everything, is very different from saying, I've addressed everything. Those are not the same sentence. Now, let me show you what I mean. Most neuropathy cases involve 4 major systems. Let's start with the first one, metabolic health. We're talking about blood sugar, insulin resistance, inflammation, and nutritional deficiencies. This is a system that most people measure. And unfortunately, it's also the one most people mistake for the entire picture. A normal A1C doesn't automatically mean the metabolic environment around the nerves is healthy. Insulin resistance and inflammation can still be damaging the nerve quietly in the background. The second system is circulation. Not the large arteries, the tiny blood vessels that feed the nerve itself. Nerves are incredibly demanding tissue. They constantly need oxygen, nutrients, and waste removal. If that supply line is compromised in any way, no amount of nerve-focused treatments can completely overcome it. The third system is the nerve itself. Specifically, its ability to repair. We're talking about the mitochondria that produce energy, the axon that carries the electrical signal, and the internal machinery that determines whether the nerve rebuilds or continues falling behind. You can improve blood sugar, you can improve circulation, and still have a nerve that simply does not have enough capacity to recover. And the fourth system surprises a lot of people. Balance, gait, and sensory integration. This isn't really about the nerve anymore. It's about what the brain learned because the nerve became unreliable. That shuffle when you walk, that wider stance, looking down with every step, those are not accidents. They're learned survival strategies. And once the brain learns them, it has to be retrained. Simply improving the nerve doesn't automatically erase years of compensation. So now you've seen the model. 4 separate systems, 4 completely different jobs. The next question is, does every patient need all 4 equally? And not necessarily. One patient may be mostly metabolic and circulation, and another may have excellent blood sugar but significant balance dysfunction. Another may have severe loss of nerve repair capacity. But the point isn't that everyone needs an identical treatment. The point is that every patient deserves to have all 4 systems evaluated before deciding which one actually matters. And that's where things usually start to break down. Most healthcare providers work inside one of these systems. Endocrinologist, for example, focuses heavily on metabolism. Physical therapists will focus heavily on movement and gait. Vascular specialist focuses heavily on circulation, and they're often very, very good at what they do. The problem isn't that they're wrong. The problem is that each is looking at only one piece of the same puzzle. So patients end up moving from one specialist to another specialist to another specialist without anyone putting the entire picture together. Now, I want to show you what I mean. Gabapentin quiets nerve firing. That's excellent. That's exactly what it's built to do. But it doesn't improve circulation, repair capacity, or blood sugar. Physical therapy builds strength and improves balance. That's also excellent. But strength isn't circulation, and strength isn't nerve biology. Better diabetes control is absolutely essential. But many patients, they normalize their A1C, while the neuropathy keeps progressing. Because diabetes is one driver, not the only driver. Supplements help when there's an actual deficiency. So B12 is a great example of this. Correct the deficiency, and people often improve. But correcting one deficiency doesn't automatically repair circulation or rebuild damaged nerves. Now you have injections, laser therapy, manual therapy. Each can genuinely be useful. Each plays a role, but each was designed for one lane, not all 4. And that's the entire point. One job each, 4 jobs are required. This is why patients keep searching for the next thing, a new supplement, a new machine, maybe even a new clinic. Every new thing helps, then it plateaus. And each plateau gets interrupted the same way. Patients say, I guess that didn't work either. But if 4 systems are driving the problem, and each treatment only addressed one, the plateau was predictable from the beginning. And there's another problem too. Most people, they replace treatments. They don't build on them. One supplement replaces another. One clinic replaces another. So now even the one system that was improving stops getting the attention that it needs, while the other 3 still even haven't been addressed. The chase itself becomes part of the problem. Here's something most people never hear. You can't tell which system is driving your neuropathy just by how it feels. Burning can come from irritated nerves, poor circulation, or even both. It feels exactly the same. Numbness can come from damaged nerve signaling or from the brain adapting to unreliable input. Same symptom, different cause, so different solution. That's why guessing almost never works. Instead, each system has to be evaluated directly. Blood work helps to evaluate metabolism. Microvascular testing evaluates circulation. Sensory and nerve testing evaluates nerve function. And movement assessment evaluates balance and gait. 4 separate questions, 4 separate answers. Not one test pretending to answer everything. When patients finally address all 4 systems, the changes usually aren't dramatic overnight. They're quieter. Walking through the grocery store without having to stare at the floor. Maybe it's falling asleep instead of waiting for the burning. Cooking dinner and realizing they forgot about their feet. Now, that's what real progress usually looks like. Several small improvements compounding slowly together instead of one isolated treatment waiting for a miracle. If a treatment helped but never got you where you wanted to be, that doesn't automatically mean it failed. It probably means it did exactly what it was designed to do. One job. In a condition that usually requires 4. So instead of asking, what should I try next? A better question, what part of my neuropathy has nobody actually evaluated yet? That's the question the 360 neuropathy system is built around. Looking at all 4 systems first. Because the goal isn't to find another single treatment, the goal is to finally see the whole picture.